instructions, guys. Let's start from the front. Right? I'll let the approach the vehicle from the front. What are we looking for?
Lights, leaks, and
Lights,
leans.
leaks, and leans, right? Okay. The wheels, is the truck leaning? No. Is the truck leaning?
No.
All right, we got all of our lights there. It is leaning a tiny little bit, but it's the way the wheels are turning. Okay? Now when you put your head under there, we're looking for leaks, right? Okay. Reflectors, bridges. Okay. Four ways. Go hop in, turn on the lights. Okay, turn on the four ways. Left turn signal. Left turn signal. Turn off the four ways, driver. Now put on your left turn signal. I'm going to turn the ignition on. That might help, huh? Okay, right turn signal. Okay, four ways, obviously low beams, high beams. Okay, cool. We've checked everything on the front. Okay, want to look at the lights up top? Are they all there? We're in business. Let's move to inspect the engine compartment. Okay. This air filter isn't on the test. I've been telling everybody it is, but it really isn't. Okay? But just the heck, if you want to put your hand on it and say it's properly mounted and secured, it's not cracked, damaged, or leaking, you'll be fine. Okay. All right, we'll squeeze in here. All right. I'm going to check our hoses. If they're properly mounted and secured, they're not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Check the coolant level. Okay? And it's topped off. And it's not, the reservoir itself isn't cracked, damaged, or leaking. Move over to the alternator. It's belt driven. Check the belt. Okay, you got the proper tension on there, about 2/3 of an inch or so. Okay, and the belt itself is in good shape. Move it right down to the air condenser, compressor, whatever the hell it is. Okay, it's also belt driven. Check the belt. Make sure that it's serviceable. The belt. What's your question?
Okay. That's air compressor and this is the alternator.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that satisfy you?
Is that on all trucks?
I was just wondering because you said it backwards. I didn't know.
I said it backwards?
Yeah, you said that was the alternator. That was air compressor and that. I mean,
Oh,
that
you
was
said
the alternator and that
alternator.
was it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was making sure. I was.
Hey.
You know.
Catch me when I screw up like that, man. Okay. And then right underneath it, guys, is the water pump. Make sure it's properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Okay, check the belt. Okay, it's also belt driven. Put your little finger here. Check it out. Give it a blow pull. Okay. All right. That's everything on this side, believe it or not. Okay. But while we're here, I guess we can check the all right, here. I'm trying to figure. I'm reading it right off the test. This isn't how I normally do it. You guys have seen I normally go right down and work my way out. Okay. Okay. What the hell? I'm going to stick with that, how I like to do it. All right. We got the tire turned here. It's easy to inspect. Okay. Let's check out our MUS. Mountain, U-bolt, suspension, and shocks. Okay. Mountain.
Mounts.
Right here. Okay. U-bolts right over here, guys. Okay. They look like U's. Check the bolts underneath them. Make sure it's on there. Okay. Mountain, U-bolts, suspension. If we got 4 leaves, you can't be missing but 1. If you got 2, they must all be present and they can't be cracked or broken. Okay? And then right over to our shocks. Okay? On that, they don't care if it's leaking or not. They don't care if you're riding comfortably, but the shock better be mounted on there so it doesn't fall off and go through anybody's windshield. Takes us right into Chad, chambers, hoses, adjusters, brakes are set so you really won't be able to pull them right now, and the drums over here. Okay, what are we checking for on the chambers there, Sparky?
On the chambers?
Yeah.
On the chambers you have 1 inch, no more than 1 inch.
That's on your push rod adjuster.
Yeah. On your drum.
Your chambers, you want to make sure it's properly mounted and secured. Check your hoses for crack damages or leaks. You can give it a tug. Okay, it shouldn't come out more than an inch. It probably won't come out at all now since the brakes are set. Okay,
Air miss.
Okay, check out what are we looking for on the drums?
Drums are properly mounted and secured. Didn't have no cracks or damage or leaks.
And no fluids, right?
No fluids on it. And,
How do you tell if it's a quarter?
should be at the thinnest point, 1/4 inch.
Okay, all right, cool. Now, what do you call it? I'll take your camera. And you're going to film us from, tell us how to inspect the tires.
Alright, check make sure there's no abrasions.
You're looking for ICD, right? Inflation, condition, and depth, right?
Yeah, inflation 90 to 110.
Uh-huh.
Condition, no abrasions, no bulges, no cuts.
Okay. Now, what's the depth, did you say?
430 seconds on the front.
Roger.
430
Okay, so we're looking for abrasions, bulges, cuts, and damages. It's pretty straightforward. No abrasions, no bulges. You want to check the sidewalls particularly for that, okay? And what do you call it? If you're going to have a tire failure, a lot of times it will come on the sidewall. You want to check that, okay? Ricky's going to tell us about RLH, or rims, lugs, and hubs. Okay.
On your rims, make sure there's no illegal welds, no dings, dents. On your lugs, make sure they're tight. There's no space between them. You're not leaking anything. On your hub, make sure it's not leaking and it's full.
Roger. We've inspected this side of the engine compartment. Let's move to the other side. We're going to roll out. I'll run you through a brake check one time, and then we'll inspect the trailer after lunch. Okay. Give me your camera. Well, tell us how you're inspecting this engine compartment.
Alright, so we're going to check the rest of the hoses on this side.
We're going to start from the top to the bottom, right?
Yep.
Okay, do it.
So check like the hoses up here, make sure there's no cracks, damage, or leaking. Make sure that they're properly mounted and secure.
All right, PMS.
Yep, check these ones here.
What is these things here? What is that?
Something with the air, I think.
That's part of your radiator. It goes right into the radiator. Since it's a hose, you want to make sure that it's properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Okay, put your hand under there, and you'll see if it's leaking. Okay, if you see a hose, check a hose. Okay, it's better to be thorough on your pre-trip than to try to take the easy way out and avoid things that might be on there. I always tell my guys, if you see a hose, check a hose. Okay, and that's something you'd want to do in real life anyway. I don't really like teaching to a test. Okay, I'd rather you know what the hell you're doing in real life. Okay, you're gonna open up the car. Well, that's not on the pre-trip. I'm not gonna inspect it. I'll just pour in water. You know what I mean? All right. So over here we got our power steering pump, a reservoir. You want to make sure that it's properly mounted and secure, and that the level is topped off. Okay, that leads over here into the hoses. Lead right into your power steering pump right there. Again, hoses, if you see a hose, check a hose. Make sure it's properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Moving right over to here, you'll check the engine oil level, making sure that it's between the add and full mark. And going right over to here to your air condenser or air compressor, I get them mixed up. You want to make sure that it's properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked, damaged, or leaking. At some time you want to inspect the frame. That's what they say on the test. I encourage you to inspect the frame throughout the inspection as you would in real life. Okay? What are we looking for on the frame, guys?
No bent, no damage. It's properly mounted and secured.
No illegal welds, right?
Illegal welds.
All right, Roger. It's not bent, it's not cracked, it's not damaged. It's going to move us over here to your steering arm. Okay? You want to make sure it's straight. You don't have a hell of a lot of play in it. Okay? And moving right over here to your gearbox. Okay? It has to be what, Rick?
Properly mounted, secure, and it's not leaking.
No crack damages or leaks. Super duper. Okay? And moving down, this takes us right to our pitman arm. This thing right over here. Okay? This is called the pitman arm. It needs to be properly mounted and secured. It's on a capsule nut, and you want to make sure that you got your cotter pin through it. That's going to lead you right into your drag link. Okay, somebody go in there, fire it up, crank the wheel to the left. Ándale, puerta.
Rápido, rápido.
Come on, Sparky.
I'm on it, I'm on it. Wait for the 2 beats.
Huh?
Wait for the 2 beats.
In English, man. Okay, kill it. Okay. And you want to inspect this side of the engine the same way you inspected the other side. Okay. You'll inspect your drag link, which is going to lead into, I forgot what the heck this is called. I really should know it, but shame on me. Okay, it looks important though. Let's check it out. Okay, it's properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Okay, now at this time here, you're at a crossroads. You can either go and inspect your suspension system. Okay, I like to do that so you don't miss anything. Check your U-bolt, your mounting. U-bolts. Okay, they look like a U. Okay, suspension. Oops, and shocks. Mounting, U-bolts, suspension, and shocks. Okay, just make sure it's all there. Your leaf springs aren't cracked or tore up, rusted through, snapped in half, that type of thing. Then we'll go over here to chambers, hoses, adjusters, and drums. Oops. Okay, here's the drums. Okay, somebody want to tell us what we're looking for there?
Quarter-inch, no oil on the drum linings.
Okay, that's good. A minimum of a 1/4-inch depth on the brake linings, and we're looking. We don't have a lot of fluids on it, particularly petroleum-based. With friction brakes, you know, that gets in there. It diminishes the pad's ability to stop the truck, and it could create a fire. Okay, moving right over to our tire. Once again, inflation, condition, and depth. What's the proper inflation, guys?
90
to 110, Roger. Okay, condition. That will lead us to A, B, C, D. Abrasions, bulges, cuts, and damages. We're looking for the sidewalls, okay? Any cuts, nails, screws, that type of thing. And the depth. What's the depth?
432.
Leads us right out to RLH, or rims, lugs, and hubs. Okay? What are we looking for on the rims?
There's no illegal welds,
Right.
dented or beat up.
Okay? Super duper. Okay? The lugs are tightened. Okay? There's no rust on them. If you see rust, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're loose at this time, but it means that they could have been, or perhaps are loose right now. You want to check them. If you see rust on them, that should raise a red flag. Your hub, okay?
Properly mounted and secured.
Properly mounted and secured. You want to check your fluid level too, right? Let's take a look. Well, we're all full of contaminated fluid in there. When you see it gray like that, that means moisture got in there and it's contaminated. You'd want to have them drain that out, okay? Because contaminated fluids don't lubricate like they're supposed to. They don't lubricate like they're supposed to. They're going to fail, okay? Somebody close the hood, yell and clear.
Drop it.
Just drop it, man. Lift it up now. You want to make sure that it's secured. You can just drop it the last 6 inches. Okay. The rest of the inspection, we're checking the outside condition of the tractor. Okay, top to bottom. Okay, left to right. Okay, all of that stuff. Mirrors, properly mounted and secured. Your glass is here. Your door works. You got your hinges. Okay. And you got your molding all the way across. You want to pop your lanyard over here. Check your safety equipment. Properly charged fire extinguisher. Your set of triangles, 3 sets of triangles, and there should be spare fuses if the truck runs on fuses. Otherwise, you have circuit breakers. Okay? Check your fairings, properly mounted and secured. Support the weight of the driver. Fairings are properly mounted and secured. Your glass is good. Fairings are properly mounted and secured. Okay, moving back left to right. Your reflectors are up there. Okay, you'd want to get on the other side and check your exhaust stack. It's properly mounted and secured. The heat shield is there. Check your air lines. They're properly mounted and secured. Move right into your glad hands. They're mounted to the trailer good. Okay, your deck is free of debris. Properly mounted and secured. Supports the weight of the driver. Move down here. Check your drive line and your U-joint bolts. Fuel tank properly mounted and secured. It's not leaking. Steps support the weight of the driver. Fuel cap is on. Okay, and we'll inspect the brakes and the chambers and the suspension the same way we did back up there, with a couple of variations because we have airbags back here. We'll get more into that later. Let's hop in the truck, learn to shift this thing.
There you go.